So right now you can just see the syntax, you can just see it according to the syntax how to create a table using CLI in AWS. Okay, so this is how we create a table, and if you want to see the table, we can go to services, and inside this we can go to DynamoDB. We can go to tables, and you can see our table is present here, that is employee 1. So right now it won't be having any items because we have not put anything, and you can see employee ID is created. And again, remember one more thing, that even if we have defined just one attribute in this table, so that doesn't mean we cannot fit in more columns, as DynamoDB is a no-sql DB. So it is not bound to a particular schema. It can, so if one row can have one column, the next row can have 2 or 3 or many columns. And again, the next, if second row has 3 columns, the third row can have 1 or 2 columns. So this is no SQL, not only SQL data store, which is provided by Amazon. So now let's try to put one item into our table. So for that, again, we have a syntax which is pretty simple. We'll say AWS DynamoDB, and then we'll say put item. So put item is used, and then we can specify the table name in which we want to put a new record, which in this case is employee 1. Okay, and then we can start filling in the item. So we'll say what item we want to put in, and then we can use single quotes to define the item. First of all, we have a column which is emp id, which will specify it is emp id. So this is the syntax for this emp id, and again we will specify first of all what is its type. It is number, and then colon, you can give the value. Okay, and again, if you want to add one more column to it, you can simply do that. You can say emp name and colon, you can give the employee name. First of all, you have to give the type. Emp name is string, and we will give name, let's say Rahul. Okay, once this is done, you can close it. You can close it with a quote, single quote. So this is the syntax: AWS DynamoDB put item, table name. You have to define the table name in which you want to put the item. Then you have to use this item to provide the item which you want to add into the table. The syntax is in single quote. Then you have to give a brace, and then emp id. This is the column in which you want to put the value. Syntax is colon, and then you have to define the type of the column, that is number in this case, and then you can give the value, what value you want to put in. And simply for emp name, you can add a new column, that is, see, we have defined the table with just one column, but we can define more columns in this. So this is no SQL data store. Let's hit enter. Okay, so no errors. So I think the data should be there in this. We will try to refresh. Oh, great. So now we are having the value which we, that is employee ID 10, and emp name which we gave as Rahul. So let's say now I want to put one more field in for the next employee. We'll say emp ID is 11, emp name will give Jose, and then I will define one more column for this. We'll say city. So syntax is again pretty simple. City. After this, first of all, for city, what is the type? That is string only, and then we have to give the value. Let's say we just give it as Mumbai. Okay, so now we have added city for this second employee. Hit enter. Okay, great, no errors. Refresh it. You can see now city is created for this new employee, and for all those previous value, nothing will be there. So this is how we can manipulate the rows. And let's say for one more employee, we don't want to have anything but employee ID. Okay. So now this has only employee ID. So this is how we can take advantage of NoSQL data store. So if you have certain requirement where your schema is dynamic and it is you don't want to have any static schema, then you can leverage the power of a NoSQL data store, which in this case is our DynamoDB. So this is how to create and insert values into DynamoDB. Now if you want to see, or you want, like in traditional SQL databases, for seeing all the values, we simply do select star from table name. So how to do, or how to scan a complete table in using CLI. So for that we can again say AWS DynamoDB, and then we have to scan. So in this case we have scan, which is available to scan all the table. Then again we have to give the table name, which in this case will be employee 1. Hit enter. So again it says count is 3, and it has pulled all the items which was present in that table. First of all, we are having emp name, which is string Rahul, and then emp id, which is number, that is 10. And again the next record, it has only emp id, which is 12. And the third and the last record in our table, this has additional column, that is city, emp name as Jose, and city is Mumbai, and employee id is 11. So this is how we can basically scan all the items from AWS DynamoDB. So this was the basic tutorial on AWS DynamoDB. And again, as we discussed, we will be having a tutorial on separate session on basically its throughput, which we defined. I'll show you that again. So this provision throughput, read capacity units and write capacity units, will be creating a sample small theoretical video on this to make the things clear to you. And again, so if you don't need any tables, you can simply go ahead and delete the table. So I'm going to do that. I'll do the same for employee 1, delete table. So deletion is in progress, that should get deleted. And of course, not to forget, if you don't want to use your EC2 instance also, you can clear, or you can stop or terminate your EC2 instance as well. So I will terminate this as well. You can, first of all, you can select your instance, you can go to actions, instance state, you can stop it, or if you want to use it, or if you want to reboot it, you can reboot it, and all the softwares that you have installed, that will stay. Or you can terminate it if you don't want to use it in future. Stopping means you can start it again. If you terminate it, you cannot start it again. So I will terminate it. Say yes, terminate. So now the connection we must have lost because we have terminated the instance. Say okay and close it. Okay. So our DynamoDB table also deleted. We are not able to see anything. If tables are created, it will get you to it will basically get you to that page only where tables are created. Go to EC2. So now we don't have any running instances either. So we have released all the resources. So it says shutting down. It's almost completed. So okay, so this was all about our tutorial for DynamoDB in CLI. So the next thing which we'll be doing is we will be using RDS, and we will, in the previous tutorial when we connected through RDS using Eclipse, we used public IP of our local system or of our machine. So in case we want to connect to RDS through EC2 instance, then how to do that? So this will be on our agenda next. For that we will require MySQL Workbench. We will be using MySQL Workbench to connect to RDS through EC2 instance. So I would request you to install beforehand when you'll be watching the next video on RDS connection through EC2 instance. So thanks for watching this tutorial.